Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from New York City and the live coverage of WCS America Round of 16. Hero taking a convincing game number 1, and the players looks like they're ready for game number 2.
Hero looking pretty damn relaxed. Not really what I would call surprising. Suppy just got off from his chair. I just want to check that he is actually there, and then we can get started. But there we go. Yeah, it's looking good. Hero just looks chill, and I don't really blame him, honestly. It seems like he wants to just expend minimal amounts of effort here. He knows he's got to go back and play Pro League, and then he's got to come back. So he's got a busy couple of weeks ahead of him here. So taking out Suppy in a clean 2-0 would be nice. Now, here's my concern, right?
Yep.
Suppy definitely has the capability to be Hero. I think we all accept that as a possibility. The problem with Suppy is that whenever he falls to a build that basically would have involved him scouting it in order to counter it, he always beats himself up about it in a really heavy way. We saw it in STARCRAFT. He went ballistic as a result of losing to builds that he should have scouted but didn't. He's very hard on himself in that respect. I don't think he should be so hard this time around, because how on earth would he have got scouted in the first place? Only that Overlord that you mentioned there could have really been the deciding factor there, but I have a feeling he's probably thinking right now, I am such a... I should have scouted that with that Overlord. Why did I not? And you can't get into that mindset as a player, because you will become your own worst enemy and you will play poorly as a direct result of that mental issue.
Absolutely. I'll let you go ahead and introduce the players, and I'll give some thoughts on that last game.
Yeah, let's go for it. In the southeast position, we're going to try and prove himself here. Otherwise, he will be going to the losers final. In the red trunks, so playing Zerg, it is Evil Genius's Suppy. Looking focused, but again, I worry for what's underneath there. I very much hope that he is able to rally his thoughts and has the mental fortitude to take him through this series, because he's up against this guy in the northwest position who clearly planned and prepared a very specific strategy that was flawlessly executed, losing maybe one Stalker that entire game. He is, of course, a liquid Hero.
Now, thinking about this from Suppy's point of view, when you're going into game 1, you're playing against Hero. This is a Protoss player who's killing people left and right. Like, he's winning so many games against the best players in the world.
Yep.
And as Suppy, you're like, okay, I have to find out what he's doing. I have to make sure I don't want to fall down early in this game. I can't lose drones early. I can't, get caught off guard by anything. So, I feel like in the beginning of that game, he's like, oh, okay, I gotta find out. And he couldn't find anything else. So he's like, oh gosh, what am I gonna do? I don't know what's happening. He's like, okay, I gotta get spores. Phoenixes might come. I better get Hydras out. What if he sends something at me? But Hero just wasn't doing anything aggressive.
No.
And there we go. He's just like, all right, I'll take a third.
No, I mean, it's like you're rolling a d6 and you're looking to get a 2, and in reality it's a 5. And it's not a good gamble to take at all. Now, interestingly enough, what our observer, which is a giant smurf, he's over there right now. We had to, of course, cover him in a curtain because the blueness was blinding. Now, what he just pointed out there was that the worker, the scouting probe, was killed by Suppy. So, I mean, that's a pretty good start there for him.
That's great. That's very common. Because remember last game, his hatchery kept getting denied by the probe.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to kill that is very unusual. That requires a mistake, really, from a Protoss player. Because under no circumstances should you be able to kill that worker. It should leave, it should come back, it should be annoying, but that may indicate just a little bit of overconfidence there from Hero, but we shouldn't overemphasize what that is. The cannon's up, there we go. And there's a quick cancellation of the pylon here, of course, will not be caught out by that kind of trickery.
I'm not sure if you saw the probe at the watchtower. It's fairly important to find that guy and make sure
Yeah, because he's on his way now, he's going to go towards the third, and we
I don't
see a proxy go down.
I don't think Suppy knows about that guy.
No, I don't think so.
So right now, it could be a situation where he's chilling outside his opponent's natural. He's like, all right, I'm going to watch the front door, make sure no probes get out. I got map control. So we'll see if he decides to send a couple lings across the map, roaming around, patrolling to find that probe. Because if he doesn't, and that probe gets down a pylon, it could be potentially a scary situation towards his third base if Hero decides to do that gateway aggression.
That would almost be tragic. Well, they're dancing around a little bit, but they're unfortunately not going to be able to do much. It would be kind of tragic if that were to happen. The probers are moving in. It did not get seen. It did confirm the presence of the hatchery there. Of course, the probe with more vision range than an unbuilt building. And now Hero is going to be able to place that pylon in a nice little position.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that guy. might be an important part of this story
Very
of Game
much so.
2 of this best of 3. Right now, Suppy playing very standard indeed, not taking any gases just yet, focusing on the drones, focusing on the queens. And now I think, yeah, we're starting to see those links patrol across the map. So any Suppy fans out there definitely want him to find that probe. Yeah. So something we'll definitely keep an eye on. Meanwhile, Hero putting on a Stargate into his main base, way at the back there. And this is exactly what he did against Scarlet on this map. So I'm wondering if Suppy, you know, is kind of coming into this map, obviously having seen that match against Scarlet, with that in mind. We'll see how he reacts.
Yeah, I hope that he bears that in mind, especially considering that the Aquilon Waste game was very clearly a prepared build. That indicates how Hero decided to play this out. He prepared some builds, said, this is how it's going to work. I am confident that I will be able to handle anything that is thrown at me in this situation. I'm going to execute this build. It is going to get me the win, and then I'm going to go on to the next map. If that's properly identified by Suppy, then maybe he will be prepared for that. At the moment, a nice little bit of tricksy micro here, but he does lose one lane and loses the second one there, and is actually going to lose the third. So
if this Zealot gets away...
It's getting away.
Oh, no. 1 HP.
Hero's ridiculous. Like... There's some kind of, it's not spider sense, it's divine providence, I have to assume. That Zealot by no right should be alive in that situation, but it is. And it was well executed, ridiculously well executed there by Hero. Ro16 coming down here for Suppy. Suppy does have an Overlord, but now of course he knows that there's a Stargate.
Yes.
Which is, the thing is that Hero wasn't hiding it. Like, when you go out there with your first Phoenix and you don't just keep them around the Stargate and say, hey, I'm going to hide the Phoenixes and I'm going to pop out with 4 of them and you're going to be surprised. That's not exactly what Hero's doing here. He uses this to immediately kill Overlords, which is really nice because you deny map awareness, you can more safely take your third base, and you also can potentially supply bot your opponent there. So that's pretty cool. We're seeing a lot of roaches coming out here from Suppy. And you know, it's not a bad option, certainly. The Robo is coming down for Hero. And I have to wonder, what's he going to try and do? He's not building any more drones. He's building Lings. He's getting his speed up here. A couple of Spore Crawlers going down to deal with the Phoenixes.
So I think he's just getting these units out to make sure that, because he knows the gateway timing is, that timing is approaching as far as the 4 gates are concerned, and we see some units being warped in at the pylon on the left-hand side for Hero. So he's getting units out to prepare for that, and he wants to make sure a fast third doesn't go down. So he's going to try to contain his opponent on 2 bases, at least for the foreseeable future, but we see some Phoenixes attacking across the map, picking up some Queens,
nice.
And Hero doing a great job with these Phoenixes thus far. Again, I'm not surprised at all by this, but what could happen here? Suppy's going to be across the map, and then Hero's going to attack into his third base with those Zealots, and he's going to have to pull everything back, enabling Hero to take a third. More importantly, Hero might be able to do a lot of damage to this third base of Suppy.
I can't see Suppy pulling back here because it's slow roaches. It would be kind of suicidal to pull him back to waste the time, but is he even going to get in the first place? Oh, the Forge goes down, and a quick, great force field here by Hero to stop that from coming in. The run-by has gone onto the third base, and it is doing damage. He's trying his best to get there. Liquid Hero had to pull back with these Phoenixes, and he's still holding. There are still forces of Void Rays out here as well. The Immortal is going to live, and this is a hold and a half here for Hero.
Lots of drones getting diced away at the third base there. Suppy, it looks like he should be able to finally clean up these Zealots. Still making Lings and Roaches at this point, so it looks like either he wants to be aggressive or he just threw away a lot of larvae that could have been back into drones, but still a little bit freaked out about this aggression from his opponent. I mean, he is able to realize that his opponent still doesn't have a third base. He has a speedling there at that location, so that's going to make him, you know, a little bit okay with how this is going, but still, you know, Hero has been playing this perfectly. He defended that Ling Roach attack into his natural very well. He's killing Queens left and right, getting a lot of drones killed at his opponent's third base, up to 9, 10, 11 in total on the workers killed. So I think Hero is setting himself up very nicely so far in this game.
I'm loving it, man. I really, really am. The number of Queens he's killed has been so instrumental in this. 1 Queen on 3 bases is never going to get you all that far. It means that the sudden swell of units that can catch Protoss off guard will never come, because there will never be enough lava to enable that to actually happen. It seems like in this position, Suppy really needs to tech in some way, because Hero is preparing exactly what he needs to deal with. I mean, what has Suppy got? He's got Roaches, he's just started Speed, and he's just started +1. There's a Warp Prism and Colossus on the way. There's all sorts of possibilities here for Hero, and Suppy needs a few of his own.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You know, Hero's the one doing all the teching. I mean, he's getting his Immortals on the field. He's adding on that robotic space, so we're likely to see Colossi fairly soon. And I'm wondering, like, because it's interesting, if we're considering the game against Scarlet, he made a third, but he canceled it and just went really heavy tech on 2 bases and attacked. And he has Warp Prism speed on the way. I'm not saying he's going to cancel this Nexus, because he's going up to 58 Harvesters, which is well over what you need for 2 bases, so I do expect this to finish. But Hero playing very safe. He's teching up all in every single direction, making sure he's going to be prepared for whatever his opponent is throwing at him, and he's continuing to scout with these Phoenixes across the map. He's seeing how many Lings, how many Roaches his opponent has, so we can realize, okay, he's not doing a fast transition to Mutas. He's not going for a bunch of crazy Hydras or something like that. I feel like Hero has all the momentum here, and even adding on a second Robo, so he might go into double Colossi production fairly soon.
Suppy's kind of made an annoying little mistake here that is actually costing him a lot of units, and that's the fact that he didn't join up his natural with his main with Creep. And as we saw there, the Queens were not able to maneuver into a position where they could actually provide that fire support. That's been critical to allowing these Phoenixes to stay alive. Not good. Oh, this is cool. Hallucinated Warp Prism and a real one. In fact, there's 2 hallucinated Warp Prisms, and there is actually a real one on the map. Where's the real Warp Prism? It's got an Immortal and Phoenixes coming in it. It's a triple drop, but 2 of it's not real. The question is, which Warp Prism are the Immortals in, as Hero warps directly into the main base during an attempted Hive transition. And this is super smart and very, very clever. The question is, will he be able to make it work?
I think Suppy should be able to hold this off without losing too much. Of course, already lost or had to pull away those drones, but Hero is going to have to get out of here. Phoenix is taking down some Overlords, and this Warp Prism can be annoying for quite a while. I mean, he only has Queens to deal with this, but if you remember, the Phoenixes have been doing a great job picking those off left and right, but Suppy doing a good job keeping that Queen count up. Even adding on 2 more Queens right now, making sure he has that anti-air, but more importantly, he's getting his 3rd up behind this, and he's getting it saturated. Meanwhile, Suppy isn't even thinking about a 4th right now.
Well, no, because he's trying to defend what he's got, and he's struggling to actually make that happen. Suppy trying to take an engagement, an inefficient one at that. The Warp Prism does go down, so these Immortals will certainly die, and actually taking a lot of damage from the Broodlings there. Nice use, actually, Suppy is directly targeting with the Broodlings and making use of that, so I'm interested to see how much damage that really did. So if we can take a look at the Workers Lost tab, pretty significant. I mean, bear in mind, this is, of course, added on to what was done previously, and there was a lot of damage done to the 3rd in that previous run-by, so it definitely could have been worse for Suppy, but what's going to be really unfortunate for him is the fact that there is a double Colossus transition moving in here with +3. Oh!
Yeah. I mean, if there's good news, his Hive is done, so he can start getting Vipers, but again, he's only on 3 bases. His opponent's on 3 bases, and he still has a lot of just low-tech units, Roaches. So he has to be a wizard with these Vipers as they start coming on the field. And I feel like he sit back, take a 4th base, but I feel like Hero's going to be aggressive fairly soon. I mean, he's got double Colossus production, +3 weapons is about to finish.
It's actually +2, never mind. It's my fault, completely misread that. It's like, is it the green or the slightly different shade of green? What could it be? It's sometimes hard to see with the stage-like glare, but we do have Suppy bringing those Vipers out, as you said. He doesn't have a lot of them yet, and they don't have very high energy, which can be pretty risky. And it's also it's a Roach Queen force. Like, Hydralisk is not playing a part in this game. That can be problematic when you're using Vipers, simply because it can be awkward to pull the Colossus into a position where they can be easily targeted down when you have low-range units that might be in a bad spot. If you got Hydras, it's absolutely fantastic. You know what's really interesting, though? There's 13 Queens on the map here for Suppy. That's
I like that.
Very high amount. Yeah, I love it. The question is, will he be able to do anything with it? I mean, if he wants to attack with this, and I really think this is more of a defensive build, the creep isn't even halfway across the map yet. The Void Ray just dies for no apparent reason there, but hey. And then
he's making 3 more Queens, by the way. He's continuing with the Queen.
Yeah. That's another. 2 hallucinated Warp Prisms and then a real one. This is a cool trick. I like it a lot. I don't really know if it does that much, but it's neat nonetheless. I mean, lots of stack defense coming down here to try and deal with this, but it's actually at the wrong place.
Suppy's still on 3 bases, which is worrying me a little bit. Warp Prism running right into a bunch of Spore Crawlers, but the Zealot's going to be dropped going to war. Keep in mind, Dark Shrine just now finished, so Hero has the ability to start using Dark Templars. He's targeting on the Spores in his opponent's main base to get rid of that detection. Great move here from Hero.
Yep, and he's gonna get the Spore. Very, very nice move. And suddenly, the detection's gone. That means the Hydralisk Den pops. No problem whatsoever. Where is the Overseer? It's currently morphing in right now. Suppy is blocking off the DTs, and he has actually eliminated the majority of them. There are still 2 lurking around here somewhere. I believe they're picked up in the Warp Prism there. Gonna drop them down on the 4th base. Yeah, that's gonna die. Nice little pull of the Warp Prism there, which means that Warp Prism will die. But the Blink, the aggressive one, comes in. The Roaches are out of position here. The Force Field. Blinding Cloud comes down. This is already very strange indeed. The Colossus just kind of wander into it here. Roaches try to make their way in. Force fields are down as well. Good use of the force fields. You might think, well, those are bad force fields because it lets units through. No, it funnels the units. And it means that the Colossi will do extra damage there against big stacks of units. That was very effective. A lot of Queens died there. A lot of them over half the count. That's a lot of potential energy gone for transfuse, a lot of anti-air.
Also, I think either the fourth got killed or he had to cancel it, which again is a glaring problem for Suppy in this game, as Hero is probably looking to even set up a fourth of his own fairly soon. And now we're seeing the +3 starting to finish up here for Hero, also going into Templar, so we'll keep an eye on that. But he still has a large Colossus force, lots of Stalkers there coming across the map. Suppy, he needs money abducts. Again, he needs to grapple those Colossi, get them in range of the Roaches, take them out, and then deal with the rest of the army.
Yeah, the fourth got cancelled by a single Dark Templar. Hero really smart. And here come the abducts, right? Let's see what he can do here. Can he get down some good blinding cloud? Good abducts again, but this is exactly what I was saying would be the problem here. The Colossus don't get immediately killed because you don't have the high range units to make that happen, which means that Hero is able to escape with the majority of those units and move himself into a better engagement position.
Decent abducts there. I think he took down 2 or 3 Colossi. He has to keep that up, but there are now High Templars in the competition here from Hero. So he has to not only make sure to get the abducts, but also stay away from High Templars. Because if he gets fed back, those Vipers are going to die.
They're injured as well.
Yep.
Like, almost all of those Vipers are very, very low. A feedback will kill them regardless. A blink will kill them. A tickle will kill them. There's one. Single. Let's see if he can actually pull anything out of there. Time of second one.
Oh my god.
That's one blinding cloud that was thrown down there. This is not a good engagement for Suppy whatsoever. Hero is in a great spot simply to funnel these units and kill them. He spreads out on the engagement here. The supply count plummets here for Suppy. There's the blink and the GG, and Hero dominates his group 4-0. Really, I don't think there were any questions that Hero was
Look at the respect. So much respect that Suppy's showing there.
Yeah, it's cool to see these guys play, considering they are very much allied. Neither of them really wants to play the other, right? No one wants to take out a teammate or an ally in Pro League, but at the end of the day, once you get to this stage, that is likely to happen. And Hero was rock solid the entire game. Doesn't make any mistakes. Suppy not really able to handle that, and it's understandable. You know, you can prepare all you want against someone like Hero, but Hero's going to prepare for you and your group as well, and every build that he executed was clearly well thought out.
Hero has yet to drop a map in this entire tournament.
Yeah.
Of course, taking out Major and Killer 2-0 each, and then of course just now taking out Scarlet and Suppy. Dominating performance here today, of course, in his round of 16 group. He's going to be the first to advance into the round of 8. Great play as always. And again, you know, that game came down to that last engagement. I mean, Hero was just slowly taking advantages throughout. I mean, whenever it's 3 bases versus 3 bases with the Protoss up and the Zerg not really teching to like Swarm Host and Fester for like those expensive unit compositions where it's kind of okay to be on even bases. You know, going for Roaches where you just want to get those cost-efficient engagements. It was a situation where Suppy, he had to get perfect abducts, but Hero, again, perfect positioning in that last game, time warping both of those ramps leading up to that location, and the Colossus just killing everything. Hero definitely deserving that victory, 4-0ing his group, advancing the round of 8. Guys, coming up next, we're going to have Scarlet versus Revival. It's going to be the loser's match. The loser of this match will go down to Challenger League. The winner is going to advance to the last match of that. Guys, stay tuned. You're watching WCS America round of 16. We'll see you after a quick break.